planning, the stock market shouldn't even be a concern. The money came in every 2 weeks while you worked. It should be the same in your retirement years. Let us show you how. Call JML Financial Group today at 856-925-6674. That's 856-925-6674. Or at jmlfinancialgroup.com. So, when your neighbor's sunbathing in the front yard,
Harry, you're an idiot. Get away from the window.
keep your eyes focused where they should be, on enjoying your retirement. Securities and investment advisory services offered through Brokers International Financial Services, LLC, member SIPC. Brokers International Financial Services, LLC is not an affiliated company.
The very first thing you taught me was to be fair.
No cutting in line. Play by the rules.
Play by the rules. Don't pick on the little kids.
It's important. It's the right thing to do.
It helps create the world we want to live in.
Well, there's something I need to tell you.
Kids aren't the only ones that should be fair.
Mommies and daddies should be that way too.
Every time you go to the store, you have a chance to be fair. To do the right thing.
To make a difference in someone else's life.
It's easy.
It's not expensive, and it makes a huge difference. Just look for the Fair Trade certified label on products in the grocery store.
It means that farmers are getting a fair deal.
That their kids get to stay in school. That they can look forward to a brighter future. And we're getting great products that were grown with care. Now that's fair.
It's good for our family.
It's good for our neighborhood.
It's good for the whole world.
Buy fair, be fair. Visit befair.org to learn more.
I'm glad we had this talk.
As a combat wounded veteran, I know how hard it is to come home and build a meaningful life. I'm LaToya Lucas, and I'm a veteran. When I was in Iraq, our vehicle was hit. A rocket-propelled grenade exploded right under my seat. Traumatic brain injury, a fractured pelvis, severe burns. They didn't think I was going to make it. I had to learn to live with the scars, both visible and invisible.
DAV helps veterans like LaToya get the benefits they've earned. They help more than 1 million veterans every year in life-changing ways.
With DAV on my side, I was able to pursue my dreams. If my story can touch a heart, it can change a life. My victory is overcoming my wounds so I can help other veterans.
LaToya Lucas, may your victories inspire many more. Support more victories for veterans. Go to DAV.org.
I'm Shanola Hampton. Every day, millions of people face hunger. Today, I will share with you some of their experiences. I'm stuck between paying for medications or paying for food. John from Maine. After paying my bills, I can buy groceries. It's sad to say, food comes last. Alice from Oregon. I thought pantries were for less fortunate people, but anybody could be less fortunate in a day or even a second. Claire from Virginia. The Feeding America network of food banks helps provide over 6 billion meals to people in need each year. No one should have to worry where their next meal will come from. Together, we can end hunger. Learn more at feedingamerica.org.
Hi, I'm Judith Light. So there you are. It's flu season, and you're over 65 like me. You're having another busy year. So much to do, so many roles in life to play. But you feel like you might be forgetting something serious. Your annual flu shot. And before you know it, it's too late. It's not just the aches, fever, and chills that last for days and days. The flu can be life-threatening, especially if you have chronic conditions like diabetes and heart disease, which can worsen with the flu. Being active and healthy alone won't protect you. The immune system weakens with age, making you more susceptible to the flu. If you're over 65, ask about your vaccine options, including one made specifically for us. An annual flu shot is the best way to help keep the flu away. Visit the National Council on Aging at ncoa.org/flu to learn more and talk to your doctor or pharmacist about vaccine options for people 65 and older. Again, that's ncoa.org/flu.
WPHT, WPHT-HD, WOGL HD3 Philadelphia. From the Cherry Hill Volvo Studios, where relationships matter. Always live on the free Odyssey app. It's Barry, Sable, and Friends on Talk Radio 1210, WPHT.
Well, Good morning. You have tuned in to the Barry Sable Show with friends. Glad you could join me this morning. By the way, we are streaming live on YouTube, and our past shows can be seen on the Odyssey app if you like. Sitting on the other side of the glass with me is Kirk and Larry Casanova. Hope all had a good Thanksgiving, and the Eagles are on a roll. We should all be happy, and we're going to have a great show today. So, the election is long over. President-elect Donald Trump is on the move, selecting his cabinet and an array of hope for a bright future for all of us. With that in mind, I believe a few past massive occurrences are going to have an impact on the future of our country. As an example, the border, where the current border situation has been completely open for the last 4 years, even though the Democrats told us it was closed. When Trump left office, the wall was being constructed from Arizona to California. It was being erected as a start to derail the migration of illegals into this country. We all know this. The material and the construction costs were there and paid for. I went to the border, as you know, and I saw it sitting on the ground. What a disgrace. But if you recall, the cost was budgeted out roughly at about $5 billion. And the Democrats balked at that. They didn't want to spend that kind of money, and they refused to approve of that expenditure. So what did Trump do? Took money from other avenues and started to construct, finally attempting to secure our safety from those trying to enter our country illegally. As we all know, drugs, fentanyl, child trafficking, and those with malice intentions have been entering our country for years. Time to finally put a stop to this nonsense. Don't you agree? Well, when the Biden administration took office, all construction of the wall ceased, and materials that were prepaid were being sold off for pennies on the dollar. How cute. Staying in Mexico, let me tell you what they did with that, and let me tell you what the actual law is. Administrated by the Department of Homeland Security, it requires migrants seeking asylum to remain in Mexico until their U.S. immigration court date. Who never knew when that was going to happen, my God? But nevertheless, they were to stay there in Mexico. The policy was initially ended by the Biden administration, get it right, Barry, and after some legal battles, the Supreme Court of the United States ruled on June 30th, 2022, in Biden versus the United States. So now we had, going into that administration through Trump, that you had to stay in Mexico. And then Title 42 was not enforced. Let me tell you what that was. Title 42 refers to a public health order that allowed the U.S. government to quickly expel migrants at the southern border during the COVID-19 pandemic, effectively blocking many from seeking asylum. This policy ended on May 11, 2023, leading to changes in U.S. migration practices. So as you could see, whatever Trump had decided to do and had in place was now dissipated, and there was chaos and confusion now at the border. Where Republican lawmakers wanted more funds for securing the border, as you know, the Democrats, on the other hand, wanted to give these illegals a fast path to citizenship. And they surely muddied the waters. Often absent from their bickering is the economic impact of this massive immigration. But before we go on to that, let me just continue to give you some facts of what took place during the last 4 years. Statistically, 11 million unauthorized border encounters between October 2019 and June 2024 existed. And that does not include the gotaways. Keep in mind, Department of Homeland Security estimates migrants crossing U.S.-Mexican border, which does not include Canadian border by any stretch of the means, ends up being close to 3.3 million people into the United States in 2023, as opposed to 900,000 annually averaged from 2010 to 2019. Just think about that. My God, I don't even know what the past administrations from Trump on backwards were even thinking about. Why were all these people allowed to enter our country? It doesn't make any sense to me. Having said that, approximately 100,000 deaths due to fentanyl is looming in our country. That's every year. The cartels have gotten fat bellies on our border. Over 300,000 young kids that have crossed the border are missing. Yes, they're missing, and this government has no intentions of finding them, or at least up till now over the last 4 years. Hopefully that's going to change. And we know that these kids have been put into labor trafficked or sex trafficked. I mean, it's just despicable. And that administration, meaning the last one, was so worried that Trump was separating kids from their families. What a disgrace. Credit that to Obama. Nevertheless, whether it was or was not, we at least knew these kids were safe. How about all that have died making their way through the Darien Gap? And we did a whole show on that, if you recall. And onward, politicians didn't care about these lives. We all have known this for quite some time. I just want to give you a little bit of info that I looked up this week. Federal power over immigration. Let me read to you. Article 1, Section 8, Clause 4 of the U.S. Constitution gives Congress the power to establish a uniform rule of naturalization, preventing individual states from creating their own immigration policies. Now you can see where the confusion starts. The federal government maintains exclusivity authority over immigration regulation as affirmed by the Supreme Court decisions, striking down state attempts at invasive immigration laws. Now you could see what Jean-Pierre was quite talking about. Let me continue. When she says Congress has to act. So let me continue. Congress has enacted comprehensive federal immigration laws under this constitutional mandate controlling entry, border security, treatment of non-citizens. Let me continue. Federal courts have granted Congress wide latitude in this domain. The executive branch implements these laws through agencies like ICE and the CBP. Presidents, get this, occasionally issue executive orders to address immigration issues when faced with legislative gridlock, such as DACA under Obama, and we could talk about that, and the ban travel under Trump. Finally, states have little power to regulate immigration directly. Now you could see why Texas has so many problems. When they put a stop or tried to put a stop, Governor Abbott gave them all the government and this administration, obviously when I say the government, this administration meeting Biden, when they wouldn't let them prevent migrants from coming in. When Arizona attempted to mandate immigration status checks by the police, the Supreme Court largely struck that down, reaffirming federal supremacy in immigration matters. Recent presidents, here it is, have used these tools to implement major policy changes when Congress fails to act. So this administration could not tell us that they didn't have the ability and how to wait for Congress when you see that it's not true. The administrative office, meaning the president, could have acted. I didn't even get through my monologue. Who's on the line here? Steve Diorio, cruising 92.1. Welcome to Barry Sable and Friends. Good morning, my friend.
Good morning, Barry.
How are
and
you?
Your audience. It's going to be a good day today. A little sunny here in the Delaware Valley, so I expect nice weather. So we'll see what happens.
Yes. So, Steve, here's exactly what I'm really trying to say. And I have pages to go on. And I guess I really want your input for what I'm saying is that the United States of America causes chaos in my mind. Okay? And you say, why is that? If we go on to say DACA, Steve, DACA, which was implemented by the Obama administration in June 2012, it has transformed the lives of more than 834,000 young people. However, anti-immigrant politicians have attacked the program since its inception, forcing recipients, I guess I'll get that right, to live in chronic uncertainty. Steve, what is the government doing to us?
Hey, Barry, you know what? I have more compassion than the average guy because I've been at this game for over 50 years. But when it comes to these the DACA kids, I feel more concerned about the senior citizens, the veterans, and our own young children. These people have worked hard, the seniors. They built our schools, paved our roads, did everything for us. Our veterans fought foreign and abroad for us. And here we are prioritizing all these people who entered our country illegally.
Yep.
And where do we get these precious dollars? I'd like to expand upon what you were saying about the border. Barry, you obviously can speak firsthand on the border because you actually were there.
Yep.
You saw the metal that was rusting out in the weather, and you saw that it was being cut up and sold for pennies on the dollar. Probably China wound up with it. They bought most of our scrap metal for the last 40 years anyway. Real quick, the Mexican drug cartels have had operational control of our southern border for 4 years now.
Yep.
Over 20 million illegals, 500,000 fentanyl deaths so far, and thousands of angel moms and dads who lost their loved ones over being victims of crime at the hands of these illegal, 300,000 unaccompanied illegal minor children. We have spent trillions, the NGOs, healthcare, housing, food, and yet now everybody's complaining, where's Trump going to get the money for the deportation?
Yep.
Well, where do we get the trillions? I mean trillions, because think about this, Barrett. The federal dollars were used to accommodate these illegals. State, county, local dollars. It impacts our schools, our welfare programs. And if you add it all up, where the heck do we get these trillions of dollars when we're so concerned about these foreigners and we have seniors and vets and disabled people and kids struggling in our country today, even as we speak?
Listen, Steve, as you see, this administration just gave $1 billion to Africa, Angora, to be honest with you. And then somewhere, I don't know, I heard this morning $1 billion, but I thought it was $750 million to Ukraine. How could anybody in this country, any politician, complain, where's the money going to come from, when all we do is proceed to give tax dollar money across overseas? I mean, it's just despicable. And frankly, I know that you're involved with Beth Sawyer. Matter of fact, I want to make a statement now before I forget that you're going to be joining me. I'm sitting in for Dawn Stenslin on the 24th of December, 26th. You, Beth Sawyer, Dan Queller, and I are going to be in the studio, which I'm really looking forward to. Having said all that, we keep spending money overseas and we keep giving our dollars and butting into everybody's business. I don't know what's going to happen in Syria right now, Steve. There's all kind of havoc over there. We have troops in Syria. Are we going to butt our business over there, too? Does that mean money's being deferred there? It's really, we just don't care about Americans, Steve, the way we should. We're hoping, and I'm asking you, is Trump going to change it around?
I think he will, but first I should say this typical unrest in the Middle East, it always happens under Democrat administrations. If you look at the Carter years, look at the Clinton years, look at Obama, look at Biden, all kinds of, they slaughter Christians, number one. And there's this total unrest, and Israel's the target and the United States the target.
Yep.
And these Democrats, I don't know what it is. They must be anti-American, because if you look at this takeover of Syria, I don't know whether it's good or bad, but I have a stinky feeling that our CIA might be behind it. I don't know, because Syria, Assad was pretty tight with Russia, so we'll see how it plays out. But I think Donald Trump, the new sheriff in town, is already shaken up the globe. And if you notice, when he was in Notre Dame Cathedral the other day,
yep,
they were all running up to him, kissing him, giving him high fives, and couldn't wait to hug him. But things are going to change, Barry. I truly believe that.
Yep. And I got to tell you the truth, Steve. I know the Democratic Party has knocked Trump. I think Trump had tremendous relationships with foreign leaders overseas. NATO understood where they stood. Rocket Man understood when he went over there, and everybody wants to know, what is he doing? What is he saying? It's none of anybody's business. It's like The Godfather. When he makes a decision, he doesn't have to tell the world how it got done. The next thing you know, missiles were not flying anymore. China knew their position, and Iran was broke. So frankly, he had things under control, and there was no Russian-Ukraine war, nothing of the ilk. And people just fail to realize that we've spent so much tax dollar money on these situations. And I'm going to get to it after I leave you go. And I want you to hang in with me a few more minutes until I get to the economy. I'm sick of it. And frankly, I know you're involved with Beth doing something in North Carolina. Can you give us a quick update on that, please?
Sure. Well, we hooked up with this woman, Donica Hudson. Anybody can Google her. It's Donica, and she's an unbelievable person. And what she's done, we reached out to her. We're going to be helping 52 families in western North Carolina that are displaced or living in a motel. And it's sad and unfortunate, but it's a way of life. And now apparently we're actually pulling out of FEMA's pulling out of North Carolina. So we're trying to help these families. It's called In His Presence, IHP Global Ministries. She's an ordained pastor, and she's helping. We're helping these families. People can give. If you look up Donica,
there you go.
Hudson, and they can give and donate gift cards, or they can go to a QR code and donate money.
Well, here, before I leave you go, I just want to tell you, because I'm up against the break, Barry Sable, Show with Friends, will support anything that you need be done. You're welcome to call in at any time. We're here to help raise money. And I know that you give your heart. Christmas is coming up, so I surely hope to see you before. But I know that you do meals for veterans and homeless and seniors. I want to tell you from the bottom of my heart, I thank you, and we'll talk soon. Thank you, my brother.
Thank you. God
Kurt,
bless.
You too. Kurt, we're up against the break. You have been listening to the Barry Sable Show with Friends. Steve DiOrio, thanks for checking in with me. I'll see you on the other side of the break.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hi, I'm Dr. Peter Stahl, board-certified urologist and senior vice president of men's sexual health at HIMSS. In my 12 years of practice as a reproductive urologist, I've helped many guys with ED, and it has never been more convenient to treat than it is right now, thanks to HIMSS. It really wasn't easy before. You had to take time out of your day, come to a physical office, and see a specialist like me in person. Now, through HIMSS.com, you can get world-class sexual health care and a full range of treatment options for ED through a 100% online process. It starts with a free assessment from a medical provider licensed in your state who can determine if ED treatment is right for you. If prescribed, your medication is shipped to you for free. So don't wait. Join the hundreds of thousands of guys who've gotten help for their ED through HIMSS.
To start your free online visit and find ED treatment at up to 95% off brand name prices, go to hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit.
Virtua Health, real patients, real doctors, real complex cases. Take one.
Open heart surgery, tear in my aorta.
The most complex cases come to us at Virtua Health.
I'm sure I wouldn't have been here without you.
Being a 45-year-old, not being able to walk up one flight of stairs, I had no idea I was in heart failure.
Virtua is a premier heart failure center in South Jersey.
They changed my life. It's truly a blessing.
Want to follow our stories? Go to virtua.org. Virtua Health, here for good.
Don't miss the Education Show with Dom Giordano every Sunday morning at 5:30. Find out how you can help your child or grandchild succeed. Sponsored by New Hope Academy.
You may be ready for retirement, but is your money? Learn how to make your money work overtime. Tune in to The Retirement Spectrum with Alan Cohen. Saturdays at 3 on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
Honey, bags are packed and in the trunk. Is the car good to drive to Mother's holiday dinner?
Yes, dear. Car's good. We have Ox Car Care for their extended car service plan. Ox covers our repair bills if anything happens. We have no worries if any problems come up on our holiday travels. Ox Car Care has our back.
I remember. Ox has flexible coverage plans that can protect issues with engine, transmission, brake systems, and so much more.
Yep, we don't pay. Ox pays. Ox gets it fixed for us. Joe at the auto shop says Ox Car Care pays them directly, and there's no complicated paperwork. Ox is A+ rated, with already millions of dollars paid out in claims.
Right. They handled our claim from start to finish, unlike those other companies. Good call. The last thing we need is an unexpected car repair bill this holiday. The only thing now is, which pie is Aunt Martha making?
Drive with absolute peace of mind this holiday season. Call Ox Car Care for your free quote. 800-458-0279. Don't get stuck with a major car repair bill. Call Ox today. 800-458-0279. 800-458-0279. Or oxcarcare.com.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm. An important message about your timeshare from Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group.
If you receive an unsolicited phone call or mail piece to discuss selling, renting, or especially canceling your timeshare, don't fall for it. Contact your timeshare resort or Wesley Financial Group for assistance, and I'll send you our timeshare exit information kit free with the straight facts about timeshare cancellation.
Call 800-408-4040. That's 800-408-4040.
Uh-oh, Brad's buzzed.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, he's starting with the woots.
And now a speech.
I just want to say that friendship is about heart and brain. Who's with me?
Good thing is, he knows when he's buzzed.
And my brain is saying, when it's time to go home, somebody call me a ride.
Love that guy.
Me too. Know your buzzed warning signs? Call for a ride when it's time to go home. Buzz driving is drunk driving. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
It's officially the merry season, and B101, Philly's official Christmas station, is your home for holiday music. Spinning the biggest and best festive tracks all day long, now through Christmas Day. Jingle bell, jingle bell, jingle bell rock. Get your holiday fix on the radio at 101.1 FM. Ask your smart speaker to play B101 Philly, or listen on the go with the free Odyssey app.
Be sure to follow Talk Radio 1210 WPHT on the free Odyssey app. Download it now.
Yes, indeedy, we are back. I'm discussing with Kurt and Larry how we're going forward. But let me say this much. Obviously, you're listening to the Barry Sable Show with friends, 1210 WPHT. I was trying to get a point across to Steve is that it's the government has really put us in a bad way. From an administrative standpoint of view, we have laws on the books, and roughly 750,000 vetted people come into this country every year, supposedly. Yes, I think administratively we're dragging our feet. You have dreamers here. I know that they're nervous. What's going to happen to them going forward? And there's a lot of issues because the waters, as I say, have been muddied. But let me continue. I know I'm reading a little bit here with my monologue, but let me continue. Let's get to the economy. Positive and negative results from this invasion. The Congressional Budget Office, the CBO, predicts by a pool of some 5 million workers, more than estimated last year, will increase results in this nation's gross domestic product, which we know is the measure of our economy's size, will grow by an additional $7 trillion over the next decade. Wow, I've got to get my accountant on the phone and figure out what the heck is going on here. I don't know what these numbers mean, but if you do, 855-839-1210, if you have an accounting background, please call in. I'd like to know what these numbers mean because they're way over my head. So the CBO, the federal government says, the CBO says that the federal government will benefit from this growth, which should lift tax revenue collections by $1 trillion. Now it becomes interesting. But at what cost do we spend? At what cost? We know we have seen a rise in horrific crimes by people who do not legally belong here. Of course, not all people, but enough. More police is necessary, more ICE, border patrol people. There are more prisons needed. Just more costs to pass on to us. When it comes to the programs like public education, there has been a burden on teachers and American students to have to incorporate these non-English students into classes. Slows down the process of our kids' learning and education, and the state and local governments incur higher costs because they have to fund the majority of public schools across the country. This is overcrowding. It's simply another big cost. Healthcare costs, hotel rooms, food, gift cards, and phones have cost this country a fortune. Yes, some have found jobs, but to what extent? They have been taking employment away from Americans. I ask you to ponder. Listen to these statistics. 21% of asylum seekers receive food and assistance at some point during a 15-year period, compared to 15% of the overall U.S. population. What that means is we're importing people, and we're not importing, they're coming here illegally, and they are using our resources more than normal Americans. Housing assistance rates had a similar large difference and difference between migrant group and overall U.S. population. So, I'm playing poker the other day, and there's a gentleman sitting to my right, and he looked to me, I don't know, about 28 years old, and I was talking to him, and he said that he was from Mexico. And I said, wow, that's great. How long have you lived here? I was born here. I said, what do you think about the border? He said, I'll tell you exactly what I think about the border. My people, meaning Mexicans, are coming here because they are willing to do jobs that Americans won't do. I looked back and I said to myself, wow, is that the image that we want to send to people around the world? That we Americans are lazy and not willing to do what it takes to become successful in this country? If that's the case, are we paying some Americans just to stay home and not work? With all these benefits from Section 8 housing, utilities, food stamps, I mean, something to me needs to be done about that. There has to be a better system to take and elevate American people, whether they have an education or not. I understand that people don't want to do these, call it crappy jobs, but if you don't go get an education, and like other Latin countries, Costa Rica, Dominican, you don't work, you don't eat. So I asked some questions, and I'm waiting for Justin Murphy to be calling in, but let me ask some questions, and if he's listening, these are the questions that I'm looking for him to answer, such as higher wages due to epidemic, of course, and illegal hiring has caused and contributed to our lower wages. How about inflation? Yes, we've seen inflation. It had an effect on inflation with these people. Are you satisfied giving illegal strangers help, like Steve DiOrio said, rather than veterans who sacrifice so much for our freedom? And how about our seniors who always seem to need some kind of assistance? And our homeless, they're all over the place. We need to figure that out. Here's another thought. How about the baby boomers that are entering retirement and fertility rates declining? So do we need to investigate a new type of immigration reform? How about a few more questions? What will our economy affected by all of this? What will it look like and when? I don't know. How much of this, again, is going to cost taxpayers? Proceeding forward, will the population from this immigration put a downward pressure on real wages? We see that there's problems with that. Maybe they come into this country and they're making less money. Is that problematic? I don't know. The influx of all these foreigners, is it going to change the fabric of this country? And it looks like I'm up against a break. I'll come back and answer that question, at least for you. You have been listening to The Barry Sable Show with friends, Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. Don't leave me. I need you.
At California Psychics, we know you have your doubts about, well, psychics. After all, there's a lot of hocus pocus out there. From people who don't know their astrology from their elbow.
Your horoscope says you'll get the promotion. Oh dear, but you gotta watch out for flying pigs.
To tarot tricksters playing you for the fool, and fortune tellers who charge a fortune. That's why California Psychics reject 98% of the psychics who apply to work with us. We guarantee if your reading isn't life-changing, it's free. Right now, new customers receive 20 minutes for just $20. So you can get advice without developing a flying pig phobia. Experience the joy of certainty at CaliforniaPsychics.com.
Hey, it's Greg with Cal & Company. Tackle the NFL action on FanDuel in partnership with Valley Forge Casino. It's America's #1 sports book. Right now, new customers can get $150 in bonus bets if you win. The FanDuel Sportsbook app gives you everything you need to place live bets on the NFL all in one place. So when you get a hunch in the middle of the game, you can check out the latest stats, view live play-by-play, and so much more on the same page where you place your bets. All you have to do is go to FanDuel.com/Greg, FanDuel.com/Greg to join today. Don't forget that promo code Greg, Greg. WPHT-REG. You'll get started with $150 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins. FanDuel.com/Greg one more time. Never waste a hunch and make every moment more with FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL. FanDuel Sportsbook, the official partner of 1210 WPHT, so you know you're in good hands. 21 and over, President PA. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets which expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Hey, Dawn here. When it comes to your home, trust is everything. For 45 years, Kitchen Magic has built a reputation for transforming kitchens with precision and care. From custom cabinets to countertops, backsplashes, in just a few days, your dream kitchen becomes a reality without all the hassle. Trust the name your neighbors have relied on for decades. Kitchen Magic. Get your free in-home consultation at kitchenmagic.com. Kitchenmagic.com. Let's cook up something extraordinary. Tell them Dawn sent you.
This is Dr. Marianne Ritchie. Tune in to Your Radio Doctor every Saturday afternoon at 5 here on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT for the latest healthcare news and information, because your health is your wealth. That's Your Radio Doctor, Saturdays at 5.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm. An important message about your timeshare from Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group.
If you receive an unsolicited phone call or mail piece to discuss selling, renting, or especially canceling your timeshare, don't fall for it. Contact your timeshare resort or Wesley Financial Group for assistance, and I'll send you our timeshare exit information kit free with the straight facts about timeshare cancellation.
Call 800-408-4040. That's 800-408-4040.
Uh-oh, Brad's buzzed.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, he's starting with the woots. And now a speech.
I just want to say that friendship is about heart and brain. Who's with me?
Good thing is, he knows when he's buzzed.
And my brain is saying, when it's time to go home, somebody call me a ride.
Love that guy.
Me too.
Know your buzzed warning signs? Call for a ride when it's time to go home. Buzz driving is drunk driving. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Hey, Ambler. We know your favorite station is Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. Follow us anywhere on the free Odyssey app.
Yes, indeedy. We are back. You are listening to the Barry Sable Show with friends, 1210 WPHT. I want to thank so many people on the chat room. My God. I have to read these in a second. Here's Justin Murphy. Thank you for calling in. Happy post-Thanksgiving. How are you, my friend?
Happy Thanksgiving, and looking forward to a great Christmas. And how's everything in the world of Barry Sable?
Barry Sable's hanging in there. So I don't know if you had a chance to listen a little to the show.
Yes.
I'm sure you did. But I have a few questions included with the questions that I just asked. So let me ask these of you. Of the billions spent recently on illegals, could that not have been more wisely spent on Americans' infrastructure, roads, education, airports, high-speed lines? How about a tax refund? We surely could always use that. Lastly, to clean up this mess, my God, how much is it going to cost for this mass deportation? And we could talk about that in a second. But could this not have been totally avoided? We all got kicked in the tuchus, Mr. Murphy. Your response?
We did, and I agree with everything you said there. The cost of this was beyond astronomical. When you talk about Joe Biden allowing illegal immigrants to use the VA healthcare system and putting our vets in the back of the line, you talk about FEMA not having money for our disaster relief because FEMA was giving money to house and facilitate this inflow of illegal immigrants into the country. Yep. You know, it's borderline so criminal. You know, I really wondered why the House Republicans did not impeach Biden over this, and not just Mayorkas. You know,
but let me ask you a question then. Because they didn't hold the Senate, they would have never got the vote. Am I correct?
Correct. Yeah, there's no doubt, Barry, because you do need 2/3 for removal in the U.S. Senate. But you know, if you look at you know, there's a few Democrats that probably would have come your way if they read the political writing on the wall. But you have to do something when a president and an administration like Joe Biden's was acting so lawlessly. He was flagrantly disregarding federal immigration law. He was breaking law by and the fact that he was doing this consistently and getting away with it, you're only inviting more of it, not holding him responsible or his administration accountable. He violated his oath. His oath is to uphold the law, execute the laws faithfully, and clearly with the federal immigration laws that he just trampled over. I mean, not to mention our national security, the environment down there. People never talk about this, and I'm surprised that the environmentalist left has not jumped on the bandwagon on screaming to get this crisis fixed. The border, the disaster in an environmental sense on that border because of millions of people trampling across it. You've got human waste, bottles,
I was there.
plastics.
I saw it, buddy. I saw it. I talked to you about it.
There. But how do we ever talk about it? I mean, the left should have been screaming, "Hey, you're destroying sensitive deserts. You're destroying the environment." And it's not to mention it's just the human trafficking and the 325,000 kids that we know were brought to the border, turned loose into the country, and we don't know where they are.
Yeah, of course.
That is a crime against humanity, not just a violation of federal statute, but endangerment of the welfare of children. Where are the AOCs of the world worried about children crying when they were put in Obama's cages to hold?
Yeah.
Where are they at? I mean, a guy who has them, what are they doing? It's a sickening thought. But as far as your point on the cost of deportation, I think the Americans are willing to incur any cost to not only stop the flow now, but to remedy and secure all these issues that we've have afflicted us. Number one, you cannot come to the country illegally. You come to America, you come legally, and then you assimilate. That's how this works. That's how this melting pot has become a phenomenal aspect of the American story, really. And we provide a home to more people of different backgrounds and ethnicities and nationalities and skin colors, and but we have allowed Joe Biden to denigrate legal immigration because of the millions upon millions of illegal immigrants he's allowed to just come into the country, the loss of the children, the trampling of the national security issue, the trampling of the environment, moving these people around the country at 2 o'clock in the morning, flying hundreds of thousands of illegal immigrants, your tax dollars doing this, flying them over the border to be dispersed somewhere throughout the country. I mean, this is madness. It's insane. And thankfully, prayers were answered election night. This will stop. Tom Homan, there's no tougher, better pick that Trump has in his cabinet than Tom Homan. This border will be secure. And if you came to this country illegally, don't unpack because you're heading back.
Listen, I want to get your thoughts on something else which troubles me. As we know, 9/11, Al-Qaeda, that was a trying time. And when that happened, at that point, our country stood together. When you went to a ball game, can I tell you something? It was all American. Even Eagles fans and Dallas fans hugged. Well, maybe not really. But you know what I mean. This country all became patriotic. And then as time went on, things started to change. We went to ball games. People and ball players were kneeling, burning of flags in the streets, protest, cities burning, horrific foreign persons in our political positions. And you know what I mean by that, because you've run for office who disrespect our country and its people, all leading up to the current times. Justin, I fear for America. You could call me an old man. You could call me a conservative. I've seen it before. Your thoughts on that?
Well, I and about 76 million other Americans that voted for Donald Trump share your sentiments. So you're not alone. I can guarantee you that. I've always, when I ran for Senate in the 24 primary here in New Jersey, Barry, I always said to people, look, we are in a full-blown culture war. And it's been going on since 1965. Sometimes it's been very latent and dormant. I said we're just kind of waking up to it. But the left and the far left has been waging a culture war against America for decades, and this was the kind of a culmination of it. And thankfully, with this previous election, Americans said, look, we're done. We're done with the war on parents. We're done with kneelers. We're done with BLM and Antifa rioters. We want our streets safe. We want them clean. We want prosperity. We want economic security. We want a secure border. Citizenship should be valued. It means something to most people. And this is just your eyes don't deceive you. This was this was a push by the left, and look what they're trying to inculcate in the minds of young people. That this country is just absolutely an oppressive, racist society, misogynistic, and that they've been, because they control certain aspects of our subcultures. They control academia. They control the entertainment industry. They control the media for the most part. And it's thankfully the question was, would enough people be awake on election night, November 5, 2024, to put a stop to this? And
thank God,
prayers were answered. I'll tell you, Barry, I have never seen a more concentrated effort at prayer than I did for that election. Everyone I knew was just praying, just intensely, and prayers were answered, and we should all be thankful for that.
Of course. Let me take you in another direction as we're talking about security, but I want to take you down this rabbit hole. I'm concerned as to the type of damage that could be done. And I always talk about our electric grid taken out, our water system contaminated, our cell towers taken out. I know it sounds like it's a bad dream, but I go back to the book 1984, and anything can happen, and it does. And I got to tell you the truth, Justin. These people that have come from China, let's say, you just don't get out of China on a meal ticket to go, vacationing in Vegas and in Florida and everywhere else. To me, those people are here for a mission, and I hate to say that. How about the people that have come from our foes from the Middle East? I have to tell you, I am deeply concerned. What are your thoughts on that?
Barry, we know how many hundreds of, if not thousands, of people on terror watch list were apprehended at the border. We know there were a minimum 25,000 young Chinese men that came to our country, not legally, but through the border illegally. What we don't know, are who comprises that almost 2 million gotaways that we have no idea where they came from. They were, if our audience is not aware what a gotaway is, it's a term that our Customs and Border Protection used to identify and label someone that was visually ID'd by a Border Patrol agent between a port of entry that was not able to be apprehended and entered our country. And there is at least 1.6, 1.7 million. Who are they? Are they drug runners, criminals, terrorists, agents of foreign governments? Barry, you talk about vulnerable. You better believe we're vulnerable. That's where the real danger is with this. It's what we don't know from the Biden administration. What they did by allowing so many of these people. Look at the American. How many American families have had to bury a loved one because of a violent criminal that has either been deported a number of times, or snuck back into the country, or was known to be a sex offender and released, ICE detained or ignored by a sanctuary jurisdiction. I mean, this is what there's the millions that are here that we don't know. That's what's really scary, because your grid is a prime target. Water supplies,
I'm
water
worried,
systems.
buddy. I'm concerned.
We all should be. I'll tell you what, we should be. Look at New Jersey right now.
Drones.
What's been happening the past 32 hours?
Drones.
We've got 20, 30 drones. We got 20 or 30 drones hovering above half the counties in New Jersey, and nobody can get any answers. And finally, Republican legislators in the state are calling for a special session to be convened by Governor Murphy to formally address the federal government, different agencies, and find out what the hell are these drones flying all over New Jersey day and night. And no one, at least there's upwards reported of 30-plus drones. Nighttime, daytime, oversensitive. I mean, what are they doing? First of all, that's a coordinated effort. That's not your teenage brat playing a prank on someone.
Of course. Listen, I'm up against the break. Are you able to hang in with me a little bit?
I certainly am.
There you go. You have been listening to the Barry Sable Show with friends, 1210 WPHT Talk Radio. My guest on the phone, Justin Murphy. We'll see you on the other side.
Hey, radio listeners, don't miss the Legacy Box Cyber Week sale going on now.
You've heard about Legacy Box all year long, and with our Cyber Week sale, now is the time to take advantage of our best sale of the year. Legacy Box is the most meaningful gift you can give this holiday season. It's simple, safe, and has been trusted by millions.
That's right, it's our best sale of the year. Right now, when you go to LegacyBox.com, you can save an unreal 65% on your Legacy Box.
And for a limited time, you can preserve your tapes, film reels, and photos for as low as $27, saving you hundreds.
Hurry, our best sale of the year won't last long. Visit LegacyBox.com for an unreal 65% off during our Cyber Week sale. With limited quantities ready to ship, this deal will go fast.
Shop our Cyber Week sale now at LegacyBox.com/value to take 65% off. Buy your Legacy Box today and send in when you're ready. LegacyBox.com/value.
This is Larry Steinitz with Investor Schooling. Do you know when the best time to buy investment properties is? It's now. It's always now. You just need to learn how to buy them correctly. Go to investorschooling.com and sign up for a complimentary class this Thursday night and learn how to buy investment properties and make money every time. That's right. That's what we teach. We teach how to buy investment properties and make money every time. Go to investorschooling.com and RSVP right now. Take a class this Thursday night at 7 o'clock. That's investorschooling.com. This is Larry Steinitz with Investor Schooling. Don't go through life ignorant about how to become a millionaire. Learn how to invest in real estate, the stock market, precious metals, and learn from an expert. At Investor Schooling, we teach these things and more. We only provide education, and we will teach you how to leverage real estate, how to leverage the stock market, and how to leverage precious metals to make more money than you've ever made before. Go to investorschooling.com and take a complimentary class this Thursday. We will see you there, investorschooling.com. That's investorschooling.com.
In Virginia Beach, our locals live the life every day. The art of living the life starts by connecting with what matters most: happiness. When you visit, you will realize that happiness is a real place and that it is here in Virginia Beach.
At PGW, safety is essential to delivering clean, reliable natural gas to Philadelphia homes and businesses. If you smell gas, call PGW at 215-235-1212.
Prescription products require completion of an online medication consultation with an independent healthcare provider through the LifeMD platform and are only available if prescribed. Subscription required. Individual results may vary. Additional restrictions apply at lifemd.com. Read all warnings before using GLP-1s. Side effects may include a risk of thyroid C-cell tumors. Do not use GLP-1s if you or your family have a history of thyroid cancer.
Should GLP-1 weight loss medication like Wegovy and Zepbound cost hundreds of dollars? We don't think so. TryLifeMD.com helps provide insurance access to the leading GLP-1 medications. Visit TryLifeMD.com to get your free insurance benefits check and see your eligibility in minutes. Listen to Tara's story after losing 42 pounds.
You just take your shot. It doesn't feel like you're on a diet. What I wasn't expecting it to do was to shut off the food noise. I've gone from 237 to 195. This was life-altering, and if I can do it, I feel like anybody can do it.
Get started right now with your free insurance benefits check and see your eligibility for coverage in minutes at TryLifeMD.com. That's TryLifeMD.com.
You're listening to Leaf Filter Radio, and the guru of gutter protection himself, Chris Coonahan, is here to take your most pressing leaf-related questions.
Hey, everybody, Chris here. I understand we have Ron on the line. Ron, where are you calling from?
Uh-oh. Ron, are you calling from a ladder?
Well, I was. I wanted to ask Chris what I need to do to get my gutters ready to have leaf filter installed.
Oh, Ron, you don't have to do anything. A Leaf Filter Trusted Pro will come out and clean out your gutters, realign and seal your gutters, and install Leaf Filter, America's #1 gutter protection system.
So I didn't need to get on this ladder?
Ron, Leaf Filter Trusted Pros are in your neighborhood and ready to help. Just visit leaffilter.com/gutter to schedule your free gutter inspection and get up to 30% off.
Thank goodness. What was that site?
That's leaffilter.com/gutter for your free gutter inspection today. See representative for warranty details. Promotion is 20% off plus a 10% senior or military discount. One discount per household.
Keeping free speech alive. Odyssey's #1 talk station. Talk Radio 1210. WPHT. WPHT.
Yes, indeedy, we are back. You are listening to the Barry Sable Show with friends on this Eagle Sunday. We need a win today. 1210 WPHT with my special guest on the line, Justin Murphy. Justin, I want to take you down another rabbit hole and discuss with you the changing of what I see in the fabric of America. And as an example, I have all these notes, but let me just give you an example. You make a telephone call. Do you want to hear this call or message in Spanish or English? It's not even, Justin, it's not even English first, okay? Do you think you get that in China, Russia, Brazil, India? No, okay? That's one thing, and I'll let you comment in a second. Pockets of areas of people that have come into this country, and I understand, but as an example, and I know you ran for Senate, So you surely know about the state of New Jersey. We have pockets in Delran of all Brazilians. All Brazilian stores. I mean, they don't have to leave the neighborhood or assimilate into society. Or if you go into Northeast Philly, as I say, further up near Washington High School, let's say, there's a pocket of all Russian people there. These people have the greatest stores. They don't have to leave the neighborhood. Your thoughts on the fabric of America changing? And I have some other examples, and I'll get to them in a minute.
No, you can find Vietnamese and Cambodian neighborhoods in Philadelphia, so little Chinatown or little Italies. I mean, you have these new immigrants that come in. Barry, the question is not. I mean, if they're first generation, the question really is what's happening in the second generation. What happens to their children? Are their children getting out, diffusing into the country, and these neighborhoods ultimately change? Look at Jersey City in New York, in New Jersey. That was Predominantly Caucasian European. Yep. There was considered a footprint community. They come in, then they diffuse out to the suburbs and rural areas, and then newer immigrants come into these neighborhoods. English, you brought up English and Spanish.
You ever hear of anything like that?
I am a firm. First of all, no other country caters to immigrants the way we do, legal or illegal, and that's just us being nice. But as far as our cultural fabric, I believe firmly, and I run on this. I put this in my Senate pledge, and when I ran for the House, that English should be our country's official language. Now, that doesn't mean our only language. We need young people to be bilingual to engage in a globally competitive world, and our intelligence communities need bilingual speakers to work on behalf of the country. But English as our country's official language, because English can be that cultural glue that bonds our American family that is diverse. And it's English as the language of government and the language of business and commerce to glue us, to join us, so we can all share something in common. That's really the purpose of that. Yeah. It's not, if you look at if you stay hyphenated as an immigrant, your own language and your own neighborhood, and you will have trouble assimilating to the broader culture and broader economic mainstream, and that becomes more difficult.
Listen, buddy, we only have. I'm sorry to interrupt you, but I want to get to this because it's very important, and I want to get your thoughts on this.
Yeah.
Here. As you know, we have a deportation situation. Now, I want to ask you, and I unfortunately we have 2 minutes left. I want to get your opinion on the following: landscapers, construction, cleaning services, caregivers. These are all people that have migrated into our country and have built businesses. I mean, I have to tell you the truth. If you go look I can't tell you in Pennsylvania, but in South Jersey, all the landscapers are Latin. And here's guys that came to work here in this country, whether they're legally or illegally, and they made jobs and opened up businesses based on this. How is this deportation in another minute you have left with me? How is this deportation going to take place? We can't just kick everybody out. Our economy depends on this, but we do need to know, legal or illegal, who you are in this country. Correct or not? 60 seconds.
Absolutely correct. And the Trump administration under Tom Homan's guidance will ensure that legal immigration is rewarded and illegal immigration is punished. Yeah. Now, the problem is it's going to have to be tiered. You're going to start with criminals, people that are already – there's at least 1 million people, Barry, illegal in this country that have deportation orders signed from an immigration judge that are still here. So you want to enforce those first, get your criminal aspect out, and, and the bottom line is – you have to come legally. We cannot incentivize illegal immigration. So we can't say, well, you came illegally, but we're going to overlook it, because that's why there's a rush to the border now. People know that when Trump gets here, things are going to change.
Yep.
So, I mean, without hurting industries, look, there's an issue there. There's no question. I don't believe it's as bad as people would say. Well, because number one.
Listen to me carefully, my friend.
Yeah.
You're not going to believe this. This hour has flown by. I don't want to interrupt you. We're going to continue this in the next week or so. I want to leave you with this thought, though, and we'll get back to this. Our today is never our yesterday, and make today and tomorrow better and better. I want to thank you, Justin Murphy, for calling in. I want to
Thank you for having me.
Of course, you're the best. And Steve Diorio, Philly, on your busy Sunday. Grateful to you for spending some time with me. You have been listening to The Barry Sable Show with Friends, Talk Radio, 1210 WPHT. Have a great week, a healthy week, a safe week. Go, go, Eagles. And we will see you next weekend. Thanks for always being there for me.
I used to roll the dice, feel the fear in my enemy's eyes, listen as the crowd